What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with some more Trails Through Daybreak 2. Last time we started up on the second day, still doing this investigation on Almata's legacy, but we have two new party members, like actual new ones, joining us for this section. We have Celis. Oh my god, that's actually funny. They didn't change. Oh my god, that's so funny. They didn't change this. If you look sideways at his banner here, it still says Rion, even though in English they changed his name to Leon. Yeah, Leon. But his banner here still says Rion. That's funny. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, so Rion and Celis have joined us because they are basically investigating the same thing. If there is any likelihood that Almata's legacy happens to be an artifact of some kind, it is obviously their responsibility, as we have seen, for the Gralsritter to take it in under church orders. Obviously, the public is not supposed to have stuff, you know, with that kind of power. So, we are teaming up for the time being. We do have one more 4 SPG to handle, though, before we go ahead and move on. How's everyone looking with craft points? Let's go ahead and go... Is it over? No, it's down here. Let's go back to the bathhouse real quick, just so I can refill everyone. Because like I said last time, we are getting kind of close to the end of this part of Act 1. Our time in Messeldom for this game will be coming to an end.
ちょっと暑すぎない
体温上昇汗がすごいな
たまんねえなまた温まりに来な
Alright, so, we got all that handled. So, let's go... I almost got hit by a car. I technically did get hit by a car. I think these two kids are our recipients. Or clients. We're looking for a Tony and Mina that put out a request for us. Is that you two? Look at Van being good with kids. I'm from Arkwright Solutions. We got your 4 SPG. Wow, you really showed up. See, I told you it would work. Do you mind if we explain our request? Sure, I'm all ears. Okay, well, the thing is, there's this boy who goes to Sunday school with us. His name's Jed, and he can be a little rough around the edges sometimes. He skips school a bunch, gets into fights with other kids. Definitely sounds like a handful. Yeah, he really is, and no matter how many times the adults yell at him, he never listens. But none of that stuff means he's a bad person, you know, he just has a hard time expressing himself. Anyway, the problem is Jed's... Well, 3 days ago he stopped coming to school, and we haven't really seen him since. He stopped coming without saying a word to anybody? That's what we think, anyway. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on at home, but his dad hasn't reached out to anyone either. Then maybe he really is just skipping school. I don't think so. See, Jed might not like most things, but he does like me and Tony. That's why whenever he skips class, he'll still come out to play with us. But it's been 3 whole days since we've seen him. There's gotta be something wrong. I see. Can't blame you for being worried, honestly. Alright, the teachers have also been acting pretty weird today. I think they've been talking about Jed. Whenever we ask about what they're talking about, they just say it's grown-up business and that we don't need to worry about it. How could they say that to us? Jed's our friend. Anyway, that's why we decided to come to you for help. Can you please figure out what's going on with Jed? Look, I get you really care about this kid, but I'm not so sure this is a job for a Spriggan. You seriously about to turn down a little kid, Arkwright? What a shame. This seemed like a wonderful opportunity to witness a Spriggan in action for once. Come on, Van. I get this probably falls more into the guild's bucket, but I'm worried about their friend too. Wow, no pressure, right? This really isn't the kind of job I normally take, but it sounds like I'll have my hands full if I don't. Guess there's nothing to it but to do it. We'll take your request. Not sure if we'll be any help, though. Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll start by talking to your Sunday school teachers first. Sounds like they know a thing or two about what happened to Jed. Yeah, I think they were having a meeting about him earlier. Father Krenz and Sister Olga are inside the chapel right now. If you find out anything, let us know as soon as possible. Will do.
仕事を始めるわよ
Celis and Rion tagging along for their first 4 SPG. Oh, the chapel's right here. Right, I sometimes forget, like, outside of the Basil Institute and, like, some other places across of Zemuria, most schooling happens in these Sunday schools. I mean, obviously you've got places like Genus Academy and Aramis that are actual, like, schools. But there aren't as many as, like, in the real world. We don't have any proof, Olga. But we can't simply do nothing. I'm going to the police station to file a report. Sorry to interrupt, but we were wondering if we could ask you two a few questions. Oh yes, of course. What seems to be the problem? Well, you see, I'm a Spriggan, and we just got a request from a couple kids that go to Sunday school here. They want us to look into where their friend Jed is. They're worried about him. That must have been Tony and Mina. They ask about him every chance they get. I'm surprised they try to hire a Spriggan, though. I mean, no offense, but you should really let the church handle something like this. And I'm not sure how comfortable I feel sharing information on one of our children with a complete stranger. That's about the reaction I expected, honestly. It's way harder to do this sort of thing in Messeldom than it is in the capital, huh? I mean, practically everyone knows your face back home. I'll vouch for them. They may not look it, but they're actually pretty trustworthy. Although, given Mr. Arkwright's extremely dubious character, your reaction is understandable. Don't worry, if he does anything that would offend the goddess, we'll make sure he receives due punishment. You really have it out for me, huh? Those robes, are you with the Congregation for the Sacraments? Yeah, sorry for barging on your conversation, but... You were just saying something about filing a report. Why not ask these guys for help first? I'm surprised that you place so much trust in them. Personally, I still have my reservations, but, well, maybe this is Eidos' will. So you'll let us handle it? Yes, we would be happy to have your assistance. First, let me explain. As you know, Jed hasn't been to school in 3 days, despite us trying to keep an eye on him. Having heard nothing from the boy, we made a trip to his house this morning to see what was going on. When we did, however, we were surprised to hear he'd simply never come home in the first place. Sounds like things are worse than we thought, so he's completely missing then? Yes, and yet Jed's father said he had no intention of notifying the authorities. His response to the matter was simply, I'm sure he'll come back eventually. But after that, he also said something to the effect of, he'll be sorry for putting me through all of this. Sounds like he doesn't care about his son's safety. Talk about a rough home. Yes, we believe it's possible Jed's being abused. We've witnessed his father get upset with him on several occasions. He occasionally comes into school with injuries as well, not the kind you'd expect from fighting with other kids either. However, his father claims they're all Jed's doing. He says he gets them while playing because he's so competitive and quick to get into fights with other children. I know he just agreed to take this on, but maybe it's better if we leave this to the police. You think so too, then? I disagree. Yeah, going to the police is out of the question, for the moment at least. What are you talking about? This kid could be in serious trouble right now. Look, the cops are going to deal with this one of two ways. Either they send him back to his old man, or they place him in protective custody. Plus, if there's not enough evidence, or Jed and his father have conflicting stories, the investigation alone will take months. In other words, any potential resolution would be brought to a standstill, and that would only serve to make things worse for Jed. I suppose that's true. That's why you should let us investigate first. I see what you mean. Didn't think you ever thought that far ahead. It's just, I get why some kids would want to run away from home. Been through my own share of stuff in the past, after all. Well, I'm riding your coattails a little on this one, but I agree with you. That said, you're welcome to put in a report with the police. But would you mind waiting a bit, at least till we had our chance to do our thing? Yes, of course, we understand. Guess our first stop should be Jed's house, then. It's the one right by the entrance to the back streets. Please do whatever you can to help him. Sure, we'll go see what we can find. I mean, we already know Messeldom's not the most squeaky clean town there is. I believe I already tried going to the movie theater, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. What's this guy throwing a fit about? Okay, this must be the place. Yeah, sounds like the dad's gonna be a real piece of work, though. Don't you think it'll be a little tough to get info from him? There's no way he won't be on guard with us. Yeah, I think it would be best if we formed a plan first. Heh, you're actually starting to sound like a Spriggan. It's exactly what I've been looking forward to. Well, first, we should make sure the ones doing the questioning are the least intimidating out of all of us. I've got a voice recorder here too, just in case. Also, I've got a job for Zeros. Okay. For Zeros? Well, I guess I don't mind as long as you actually have a plan. Yeah, I'll take care of it when the time comes. Now let's just get the show on the road. You know, considering we were traveling together anyway, I figure we might as well help them out. But how are we the least intimidating ones? He really thinks he can get away with pushing us around like this? Still, I do think he made the right call. We might as well resign ourselves to it and knock already. I don't know, I feel like Quater and Judith are probably the least intimidating. Leon knocked on the door. Damn it, I was just starting to get a buzz going. Ain't seen you around here before. You with the church? If it's about my kid, I already covered it with the others. Pleased to meet you. We actually just started working with the church here in Messeldom. We heard about Jed from the others. As his father, I'm sure you must be horribly distraught. So you see, we thought that perhaps we might be of some help. Yeah, that's right. We want to help look for Jed. Nah, don't bother yourself about it. I'm not sure if he's run away or what, but it's probably because I gave him a pretty harsh talking to a few days ago. Give him a day or two, he always comes back. Huh. This isn't the first time he's run away? I mean, 3 days is a bit of a first, but otherwise, no. Why do I have to sit here and answer all these dumb questions anyway? Wish that broad I was dating never dropped him on me in the first place. I mean, all the kid ever does is mouth off, doesn't clean, doesn't cook. Bro, you're the parent. That's your job. If it weren't for the money I get for housing him, he wouldn't be worth spit to me. He ought to be grateful he even has a roof over his head. This man is every bit as unpleasant we were led to believe. Can't believe. Huh? You got something you want to say to me, Missy? I said I can't believe what a lousy piece of shit you... Oh my god. My goodness, where are our banners? The sister here has a very peculiar tick, you see. It presents like verbal abuse on occasion. Huh. Seems like they're hanging on by a thread over there. Maybe it'll still work out? They did seem pretty unhappy about it all. But choosing them was the right choice. He's less likely to be on guard with someone from the church. I mean, after the visit they had earlier, why wouldn't they send someone else over? Oh, would you look at that? I think they're wrapping up. I see, so they're not actually blood related. And the only reason he's keeping him around is because of the welfare he gets from the government and the church. Shitty old bastard. Creeps like that make me sick. I didn't see any signs of a child in the house anywhere. Given the way his father was acting, it's likely he hasn't been back since he left. On a separate note, I admire your incredible willingness to foist work onto others, Van. Truly an admirable quality for a Spriggan. Yeah, sorry to throw you guys in the deep end like that. You were a big help. Alright, next bit is up to our Ziphus and Zeros. You're talking about the scent of the house you had Zeros pick up, right? We just need to have him compare it against any other scents in the city using chart search. Think you can do that, Zeros? Guess we're all set then. We'll take over from here. I guess we can let the clergy rest for a bit. Of course, happy to oblige. Maybe this time we'll actually get to see you do something for once. Yeah. Okay. Follow the smoke. Just like in the prologue. Something in there, boy. This seems to be where the trail ends. The fact that it led us to a trash can doesn't actually fill me with relief, though. Yeah, talk about a bad omen. But I guess a lead's a lead. Now, let's see what's inside. Right, here you go. So that's all it was. Oh, thank the gods. I was afraid we were gonna find a kid stuffed in there. You've been watching too many thrillers, Judith, although I was starting to get a bit spooked. Let's see what's inside. An old mop, a scrub brush, and a large towel. All that, and there also looks like an old, worn-out set of kids' clothing in here. I assume Zeros must have picked up on the scent of the clothes. I'm sure they're Jed's, but why were they thrown away? The items were gathered together pretty neatly. Doesn't feel like someone's trying to dispose of evidence. Maybe whoever threw this stuff out just wanted to get Jed to a change of clothes. They are pretty dirty. Probably wanted the kid to clean it up a bit. You think someone's trying to take care of him? That seems like a pretty likely possibility. The question is who? We should be able to narrow it down based on the contents of the bag. Yeah, this doesn't really look like your typical family's trash. It probably came from one of the shops around here. In that case, maybe it was... I was gonna say, yeah, the public baths. Because of the mop. The bathhouse. Whoever works there definitely knows where Jen is. But that makes sense. The bathhouse would totally have all those items. Oh, you're right. Hadn't thought about it. I take it that means we have our next stop, yes? Yeah, let's go see what they have to say. Feel like that's a given. Excuse me, ma'am. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Oh, certainly. What would you like to know? You're not taking care of a child here by any chance, are you? We're looking for a little boy named Jed. May I ask why you're looking for him? We spoke with a few people at the chapel who are worried about him. They haven't seen him in for 3 days now. Yeah, and we promised we'd do whatever we could to find him. Is there any way we can convince you to trust us? No, it's alright. It's plain to see you're good folk. However, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you three. Jed just ran off a few minutes ago. The boy practically burst out of the doors like his tail was on fire. Something happened? Well, you see, maybe it's best I start from the beginning, if you don't mind. I've been worried about that boy for a while now. You see, his father is far from being a good man. Some time back, I even saw him push the kid to steal something from the souvenir store. Then, 3 days ago, I noticed him wandering around by himself at night. I called out to him, and I noticed his cheeks were swollen like he'd been beaten. I figured I would patch him up a bit. So that's how he ended up staying here with you? Must mean you're the one who had him change into a different set of clothes? You knew about all that? Yes, that was me. I was lucky enough to have some clothes around his size that we usually reserve for customers. So I had him change into those and gave him a meal that'd be easy on his stomach. That's very kind of you, ma'am. It sure explains what he's been up to these last 3 days. Which leads us back to him running out of here a minute ago, right? He certainly seems to be feeling better. You see, I was thinking of asking him if he'd like to stay here permanently. You want to become his legal guardian? I'm impressed you'd be willing to take on that kind of responsibility. Well, my husband passed away and my only son is living elsewhere with his own family. I hardly know what to do with myself if I don't have someone to look after. And in the end, it just wouldn't sit right with me if I sent him back to that awful father of his. You won't find any disagreement here. I was in the middle of asking him what he thought about me taking him in, and that's when he up and ran off. I'm sure he probably just needs some time to think it over. Well, I think you painted a pretty clear picture. Sounds like Jed probably hasn't gone all too far either. Well, I'm sure he's nearby. He's probably over by the lighthouse. I'm a bit worried about him catching a cold in this weather, though. If you don't mind, would you be willing to go check on him for me? Of course, it'd be no problem. Well, guess we're finally meeting Jed. Let's go. This guy's been running around all day. What are you up to? Another day of good old-fashioned work ahead. The people I deliver to are the type I'd never get a chance to talk to back when I was a street punk. That's what keeps the job fresh, and I get as much out as I put in. Alright, man. Good job. Chew. Sure got cold out here. Hey, why the long face, kid? Who are you? It's none of your business. Actually, it's very much our business. We were planning to go take a bath over at the bathhouse, but the old lady at the counter was in a bit of a tizzy. We asked her if there was a problem, and she said she was worried about the little boy who ran out. She couldn't focus on work. Huh? I didn't realize. So, are you this Jed she was talking about? Something's bothering you while we talk. Get out. Otherwise, we might not get a chance to dip in the baths. That's an interesting approach. He seems very well versed in dealing with kids, too. Well, we know Van's from an orphanage, so... The thing is, that old lady asked me if I wanted to stay with her. She gave me these new clothes and fed me a ton of food. I didn't know what to think at first, but it's way better than anything I ever had at home. Sounds pretty great to me. Why not give it a try for a while? Give it a try? How do you expect me to do that, huh? If I did, it'd be like I was running away from my dad. This isn't a matter of pride, though. If he's treating you poorly, it's okay to run away, don't you think? That's the coward's way out, and I'm no coward. I've never lost a fight. But this old lady... Sure, she treats me like I'm her kid right now, but it's all just for show. She's gotta be just like my old man. She just wants me for Mira. Do you really believe that? Yeah, of course I do. All grown-ups are just liars and phonies. She almost had me fooled too. Glad I came out here to cool my head. You came out here to cool your head and that's your answer? You're an even bigger fool than I thought. He's got you so screwed up that you don't even know how to accept a little human decency? Hey, don't you think she's getting a little too harsh? Yeah, she's really laying into him. Nah, let her handle this one. Why do you gotta yell at me like that? You're just like my old man. Listen, do you know why I'm so angry? It's because you said something wrong, and I think you know what it was. What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean. The old lady is genuinely worried about you. She wants to help you however she can. She doesn't deserve to have her feelings spat on just because you think she's only in it for the mirror or whatever. Why are you saying all this? I know I overdid by saying that stuff a minute ago, and I know she's actually really nice. It's just, if I went off to live with her, I'd have to explain it to my old man. Look, I don't know what your dad will say if you try to leave. But it sounds to me like you want to take the old lady up on her offer, and you're too scared of your dad to do it. What you're missing is the courage to be honest with yourself. If you want to leave home, maybe tell some adults how you're feeling instead of trying to deal with it all on your own. Us, that old lady, the people of the church are all here to help you. You said you've never lost a fight, right? Well, you don't have to lose this one either. Okay, I'll try. That's the spirit. See, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Phew, I wasn't sure that was going to turn out so well for a minute there. But it looks all's well that ends well. Yeah, it's one more case in the bag. That's a delinquent sister for you. Indeed, she looks a lot kinder than she lets on, if a bit of a busybody. Alright, let's head back. I know I got a little steam there, but I'll leave the rest to you, Spriggan. Hey, no harm done. Alright then, let's go and get Angela, and then we'll head to the chapel to talk everything over. And so they went back to Angela, then headed back to the chapel. Tony and Mina gave Jed a bit of a scolding, but the three were more than happy to be reunited. In the meantime, Van and the others sat down with the head of the church, Vicar Rodian, to discuss Jed's future. That's why I decided to take the boy in. If possible, I'd like to become his guardian so he can continue to live with me. I'm sure this would have gone much smoother if I'd consulted with the church first. I'm very sorry for all the trouble. There's no need for an apology. Some of the blame lies with us for not doing more from the beginning. Besides, it should be relatively simple to register him with your name and household. Considering it also sounds like Jed's wish, I'd say we go ahead and start moving things in that direction. The real problem is what to do about his old man. Yeah, that's going to be the most critical part. You make it sound like you've already got a plan in mind. You going to share with the class? Yes, if that's true, we'd certainly like to hear it. The way I see it, we've got two options. First option would be to hand him over to the police. The second option, we don't turn him in at all. Wouldn't handing him over to the police be the obvious choice? I think so too. We already have testimony from Angela and the boy himself that he was being abused. We even have those recorded statements from when we spoke to the father earlier. He should be held accountable for what he's done. Even if he's brought in, his case won't be tried as a serious crime. If Jed was harmed to the point of nearly being killed, that would be a different story. But because he's mostly been able to attend school regularly, there's a likelihood that his father could get off with a light sentence. If that's the case, then I can understand why we wouldn't want to get the police involved. But you don't plan to let the father get off scot-free either, right? Right, I'm gonna have him sign a contract. It'll guarantee that he not only leaves Messeldom, but that he never makes contact with Jed again. With it, well, it certainly won't be a loss for the community. And if we threaten to expose his other crimes to the police upon breach of contract, he should have no issue agreeing to our terms. It's a pretty good idea. But it also means that jerk won't have to face judgment. He can just start a new life somewhere else, like it's no big deal. Even thinking about it pisses me off. I think it's most important that we make sure he adheres to the contract. To be frank, I'm not totally convinced we'll be able to get him to sign. I suppose we'll just have to rely on a Spriggan's experience once more. I imagine there's no clear solution to this issue. You're all much more closely aware of Jed's concerns than we are, so I'd like to take your perspective into account on this matter. I guess it's up to you, Van. Well, if you want my opinion, maybe we should turn him over to the police so he'll actually have to pay for his crimes. Or do we let him off with signing a contract? The issue with it, like they just said, handing him over to the police is obviously the better solution in terms of, like, trying to get him to pay for his crimes. But then, once he's done with his sentence, he can do whatever he wants to Jed again. I think the contract is the better choice. Like, yes, he gets off kind of scot-free from the stuff he's been doing, but you're thinking about what's best for Jed, not about this guy. I think we should have him sign a contract. Choosing what's best for the kid's future has to take priority over meting out punishment to his old man. See, he gets it. And from that perspective, if he ever tries to get revenge, we'll have an excuse to hand him over to the police. I see where you're coming from. You make a very convincing argument. Very well, the church will move forward as you suggested. Soon after, Vanna and the others arrived at Jed's father's house with the contract already in hand. It stated, the undersigned agrees to leave Messeldom immediately and never seek contact with Jed or bring any harm for the rest of his life. Breach of this contract will result in undersigned past crimes being brought to light and reported to the appropriate authorities. The bit about his past crimes is a bluff on Van's part, but Jed's father, sensing truth in Van's claims, finally relented and agreed to sign the contract. There you have it. Alright, we're done with all our optional 4 SPGs, so now we can continue with the main story. So let's head over back to the docks, I believe, where we were needing to be before. Right, for the film stuff. Huh, didn't realize there was a shoot here today. Weren't they around when we came? They weren't around when we came through earlier. God, he's probably been moving the production here, there, and everywhere, filming things the script never called for. I swear this happens every time he gets worked up. Makes me worry how the cast and crew are coping. Well, we've come all this way. Might as well go and say hello. Hey, you three. What new scene are you working on now? Oh, look who it is. Judith, I'm glad you asked, actually. This little snow and flurry popped up at the right time. Picture this. Antonio, the young, handsome businessman who came to Michelle's rescue, is revealed to have been the mob boss all along. And Michelle is about to fall right into his clutches. A twist like that against a backdrop like this, phenomenal. Plus, now that you're here, huh? I see where you're going with this, Salvatore. Putting both female leads in the scene at once will lend it a lot more impact. I tell you, this woman really gets me. What did I just walk into?
どうしてアントニオさんがここにロンさんは
ああ彼はここには来ないよあのゴールデンブラッドもねさあ僕に
Oh, so it is really a crossover of the characters too.
奴らの計画を止めるために
違うロンさんは必ず来るって言っていた鍵を渡しちゃいけないともきっと組織の連中が奪いに来るからってアントニオさんまさかあなたが
やだなミシェル君勘違いしないでくれよ僕は実業家だよミラになることは何でもするのは当然じゃないかさて余計な連中も始末したし計画もそろそろ大詰めだねこれで全ては僕の思い通りに
はーいアントニオ言ったわよね女には気をつけろって
ゴールデンブラッドなぜ生きているやれ殺してしまえ
今よ
I feel bad for the actor actually having to be knocked in the water like that.
俺の 計画が。
あいにくだけどゴールデンブラッドに不可能はないの。絶対に止めてみせます。私たちとロンさんで。
はい、OK いただきました。
Good job, everybody. Seeing a movie play out behind the scenes is more fun than I thought. You could barely tell the whole thing was off the cuff. My, what an experience to think we'd have front row seats to a performance by two of the most ravishing actresses of our time. I forgot how much of a fan he is. Maybe dive back a bit, fanboy. Ha, you and me and birds of a feather, Leon. Too bad you didn't come by sooner. I could have given you the full backstage experience. By the by, I understand that Van filled in for one of your cast members. Perhaps I could do the same next time you're in need. Hey, now there's an idea. With a pretty face like that, I could even line you up for a screen debut if you're up for it. Quit egging him on, damn it. That's the actor who didn't show up yesterday. Quite a role they subbed you in for, Van. Yeah, it's pretty typical for a gaudy production. You can tell he's big on the irredeemable villains. But it's got a different vibe this time, now that he and Lamb are co-directing. Oh, they got some nice coffee here. Hey, what is this, a live studio audience? Quit lazing around. The scene's wrapped up, so let's get back on track already. Right, wouldn't want to overstay our welcome. Whoops, guess we got a little derailed. Sorry to get in your way, everyone. We'll be taking our leave now. Not at all, you're welcome to visit anytime. Our next set of shots is over in the back streets. We'll head that way once everything is packed up. That'll place them right near the Underground Club. And you've got rehearsals this evening, old lady, so I better not see you saunter in late. I know, you don't need to treat me like a newbie. I've heard talk of a construction job in that area several years back. Supposedly, special attention was paid to the plumbing. Noted. Thanks, Rami. Damn, your grandma's got some real street smarts. She reminds me a bit of Master Barkhorn somehow. Well, we mustn't let her kindness go to waste, shall we be off? Yeah, come on, guys.
ジュディス先輩にバンさんたち、それにあの人たちまで。
With those two of all people, huh? What does that mean, Nina?
あまり長引かないといいけど。
So whatever Nina's hiding has to do with the church.
かなりの完成度になりそうですね。
ま、無茶なコラボをしてやらかした例も少なくないからな。そこは監督や女優たちの手腕だろ。
完成品はもっといいものになるから期待していなさい。いいことしない？何かある？シャドウサーチ。おばあちゃんの話だと水回りを工事したそうだけど。
ああ、それらしい場所をシャードサーチで調べてみるか。
Amada's former headquarters seems to be frantic with police activity right now. Though the details are unknown to me, I will stand ready to dust off my bouncer hat at a moment's notice. Protecting this establishment, after all, is one of my terms of my contract. Understandable. Aha!
そっちの個室に反応があったよ。
こんなところにあんのかよ。
Choosing to proceed will cause the main story to advance. Yep. I believe this leads us to the end of this part of Act 1, so... We have a reading. Is there a hidden entrance here? Yep, we hit the jackpot. It's sealed from the other side, though, so it's gonna take some elbow grease to get it open. Oh, here goes nothing. Hold up a sec. Something the Maricellus? Don't tell me you're getting cold feet. The hell do you think I am? There, I put up a barrier to keep people out. It'll only hold for 5 minutes, though, so make this quick. Right, thanks. I can't wait to get this over with either. Oh, the smell. I expected there to be a stench, but not one quite this putrid. This escape hatch leads right into Shit Lagoon. Guess we'll just have to hold our breath and go. Actually, from a mental health standpoint, I would prefer to avoid traumatizing myself. Oh yeah, I forgot you can do that. Indeed, this is a purification barrier. It cleanses the area around me and removes any foul odors. Shall I cast on you as well? Save for Van, of course, since he seems to be confident he can grin and bear it. Yeah, real funny. Jokes aside, that's an impressive spell. It'd spare our noses, not to mention our laundry. Agreed, let's take him up on his offer. No sense in making things harder on ourselves at this stage. Upon descending into the hidden passage, Van and the others found themselves in a pitch-black sewer. Using a series of barely noticeable scratches in the walls as their guide, they gradually made their way forward. Until eventually... it comes out of a cave. Huh, so this is where the tunnel leads. We're on the western outskirts of Messeldom by my estimate. Looks to me like this entire area would be out of view for anyone in the city. All these twists and turns, no signs of civilization, makes for a good getaway route. What do you know? This thing wasn't reacting at all before. I was starting to think we'd missed the mark. We're in the right place after all, then. Whatever the legacy may be, it might have some connection to what happened in Edith. Yeah, we'll want to be ready for anything. Not sure I follow, but about that thing in your hand. We can delve into that matter later. Our destination is nearby. I'm sensing something strange ahead as well. Proceed with caution, everyone. For sure. You guys do the same. Alright, so we'll definitely end things off here. So next time we are going to finish going along this road. It looks like we got several exclamation points. But this is the final stretch to this act. So the first half of Act 1 we will finish next time. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, mark, and to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.